This what's interesting is back then, this is a really good question, because back then there wasn't really visual interfaces for CG animators. So a lot of animation was done programmatically, and therefore the people that were doing animation were people that were pretty good at programming. And so you had people that were very left-brained, people that thought about how to make something technically work, creating things that were supposed to work emotionally. So that they often didn't have film language figured out really, and they often, as they were kind of developing the software and as they were developing images with that software, would try to figure out what the first of all what the limitations were of it, but also tried to show it off. And so you had a whole series of shots in a lot of these films that they don't really show off animation to its full advantage. And there's an argument that somehow these machines don't have the human touch. We can go back to piano rolls and suggest that maybe a piano roll doesn't have the human touch, even though it was played by a human, to punch the holes. We've had that period. We've had the whole period where in its early development, it became much harder for an artist to use the computer. As visual interfaces developed, as other techniques have developed, certainly you can get a very slick look out of CG. But, you know, can we really compare a sculpture to a finely rendered painting and say one has more qualities than the other? A human is still making it. We're still having human qualities to the work. I love drawn animation, and especially love the things that you can get out of it. But we could also suggest that in drawn animation that a digital cleanup doesn't have the same qualities as a pencil line. But of course it doesn't. It's not trying to. When it tries to, often it succeeds though, because our tools are good enough at this point where we can make things feel like anything, you know? So it's still coming from a human hand. It still has human qualities to it. If we look at early CG animation, the argument can be made that it's not achieving any of the same qualities. But there's also been an argument of why do something in animation that you could have done in live action anyway. The medium is what should be considered to achieve the results that one wants. I think that there's just as many qualities in good CG work as in any. But certainly it's been used as a crutch sometime. There's an early film that's I think called Breaking the Ice that has a fish trying to communicate and loves this bird. And so they're both sort of stuck in these planes. And what's interesting about it is that they couldn't figure out how to make water look good yet. And so the whole point of the film is almost lost. But the film also seems to be a metaphor to the idea of film is up here somewhere and we're down here somewhere, and trying to break the ice to come up to the surface.
I don't have a preference, to be honest with you. I have two kids, whatever they like. No, I mean, honestly, I don't, because I watch a lot of kids' movies, because I have two, like I have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, so I enjoy all of them. So, because, I don't know, you guys don't have kids or anything, but, when you have kids, you'll see, I mean, the happiness that you see from them, excites you. So I don't care what the movie is. If my daughter's loving it,
what they like, you like.
I'm into it. Yeah. Especially I got 2 girls, so I've been watching them all.
Well, I just like the workflow. It's a little quicker, and I still really love working traditionally and with pencil and paper, just because, tablet isn't the same. I've only used tablets. I haven't used the Cintiq, but so I still miss pencil and paper because it's just feels really nice and it's a nice break, and I feel like I'm really creating with my hands. But just for time's sake. And it kind of makes the pipeline easier to take it from roughs to tie downs and then to clean up. It's made a lot easier and a lot quicker. 3D in general, I think they could stand to stylize more and sort of play with with their character designs a little more, and how to break, not break the 3D, but not like try to make everything look so real, but still using 3D, because that's why I think we're plateauing right now. It's because everyone has reached this point where, yes, we can make everything realistic now, but can we bring the art back into 3D, which is what 2D is always all about. So I guess the only time they get to experiment is when it's just a short film, so the risk is low. So they let them go and really play with style, which I really like, and it's really like color based. They're really trying to push the colors, so it's not just, oh, let's make these colors realistic and it looks like real life, but oh, let's make these colors really reflect like emotion and things like that, and they're playing with shapes more. But at the same time, since it looks so much like 2D, I just wonder why not just do it 2D. But it's cool that they're pushing the technology now.
Yeah, so because of this animating method, I wouldn't be able to do keys and then in between from key to key. So a key pose, like start out here, then key pose is up here, about to sigh. If I was in a different program, I would probably start with that key pose, draw the next key pose that I want to hit, and then I would go and insert frames in between, and just in between from that pose to the next pose.
There's things that are designed not very well, and then there's things that are designed beautifully. Like one of my favorite movies is Mind Game by Masaaki Yuasa, and if you watch it, it's absolutely insane, and I think it's because he doesn't try to restrict himself to the traditional way of animating, which is just, clean it up, get it done.